Well, hello and good morning. It's May 30th, excuse me, day 2 on this radio. Yesterday I detected a very serious problem with this radio, and that's the band switch seems to have lost its stop, and it just rotates around and around and around. And I found by testing the radio, speaker and all, that in fact if you rotate it into a what I guess is a correct position, you can get the radio to operate. So right now the switch is in the broadcast band position as far as I understand it to be. And today I'm going to look into just what is up with this switch. I don't hold out much hope for fixing this. I certainly don't. Who would stock a switch that you could just stick in here and replace them into this one? Somebody with another one of these radios might have one. Otherwise, it's pretty much a lost cause to think about replacing it. And also, trying to understand what has gone wrong with it is also probably not going to lead to some kind of solution. Usually there's some physical piece, of course, that you come up against as you turn these switches, when you can't go past it. If that were to be broken off by somebody forcing the switch further, which is probably what happened here, it's broken off and gone, and the stopping action is lost, and I don't know how you would ever restore that. But we're going to take a look at the switch under here very carefully, see if we can come up with something. I suppose in the least would be knowing, having a knob on here, unlike these. These have no markings at all. A knob with some kind of marking on it, it's going to ruin the look of the radio if I change this knob. Well, I don't know. Something like that would help, though, if you knew it was, broadcast there and shortwave there. I believe I pretty much rotated the switch all the way around, and nothing bad seemed to happen, which is kind of surprising to me, because who knows what contacts are being made in a rotating switch like this, that you can just rotate around. Who knows what kind of combinations? No one would plan for that. The design engineers wouldn't take any of this into account. They have no expectation that this would ever break, and no concern if it did. It would be a onesie twosie thing, as they built 40,000 of these. It's just not a concern. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that switch next. Okay, got the radio flipped upside down, and I just had a flash of inspiration. I should mark this shaft now to mark the position it's in right now. So I'm just going to put a blue dot on the top here. Okay, because I believe that's the broadcast or AM radio position. Okay, let's look at the switch here. Not much to see here, so I'm looking at where the shaft comes out to see if there's some kind of a block there. I don't see anything at all that's going to stop it from rotating. Not too surprising. And let's see, there's like a rectangular shaped shaft going through here. That's to provide, I'm sure, to provide locking into the spinning part of the wafer switch. How exactly do these switches stop working anyway? Like, what is the stop on them? Probably varies from switch to switch. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything bent or out of shape that I can spot. And no, there is not. So let's look with the other camera, the close-up one here. See what we can see. Okay, I think it needs just a little different on the focus here. I think we should bring it in pretty close. I'll move the camera closer. I'm just looking again for anything that just doesn't seem right. Anything that looks bent, you can see the edge of some metal that is broken. See like a broken edge. Maybe right up at the front here. Now I've marked the shaft, I can rotate this, and I know I can return it to the... So there's play in the shaft, between the shaft and the wafers. I don't think that's very common either. Big piece sticking out here. That looks like something that would clunk into a stopper to me. Okay, let me return it back to the broadcast position here. So if that were broadcast, probably doing this would be moving it to shortwave. Something like that. There should be a stopper on each extreme. It's really a wafer wiggling around in the right hands. So that feels like there's an indent, and often you have a ball, like a ball bearing type ball. Just looking for a pointer here. And the ball is what gives the switch the I don't know what to call it, positional sense, if you like. As you turn the switch, it seems to pop into preferred spots. And that can be a ball. Look at the shape of this right in here. So I'm going to take a guess right now that under that heavy piece here, under this piece here, there's a spring piece that's broken right at this edge, right where I'm pointing. You can see a roughness, and I'm going to guess that that was a spring, maybe even a ball bearing, was traveling from this hole over the hump to the next hole, or just a spring piece. Okay, that being the case, then we would know that that would be a setting, that would be a setting, and that would be a setting. How come we got three settings? Because this has got a phono input. So one of the settings is for phono. So I'm pretty sure this is what's happened here. Now, can we... And there is the final stopper on the top of the picture, and there'll be another one down below here where we can't see it. There it is. So yeah, so what's happened is that the spring end has gone. The positional sort of locking ball bearing spring system is gone. And in fact, if I turn this so the my blue dot is straight up, this is the AM position. Oh, it's completely backwards. No, it isn't. Wait a minute. So this is the absolutely opposite position here. Well, maybe it's broken off of this edge. Maybe that's the broken piece. Doesn't really... Yeah, it does look rough, doesn't it? So that being... But wait a minute. So if that being the case, then we would go from a position like this, and maybe more like that, to a position like this. So this would be the broadcast, and this is probably short wave up here, but I may have them incorrect. So in this position, the blue dot I put on the shaft is almost straight up, not quite. I mean, there's going to be some range here where the switch is going to operate, or I may have bumped it along the way. Okay, so that's the problem with the switch. So the next question would be, if you rotate this switch all the way around, do bad, horrifying things happen in the radio? Okay, so we're starting now in the broadcast position. Something like that. And now this would be, over here, this would be something like phono. And then over, I mean, wow, I'm going to try to figure out, if, you know, just by looking at it, that if you should turn this in some inopportune position, the radio is going to just burst into flame. Man, is there another piece missing? What's going on there? Okay, so what I'm talking about is this hole. Like, what happened? What happened here? Like, this has got solder on it. But there's nothing attached to it. And the piece in here, somebody dug that right out? No, there was a hole there. But wouldn't this clip have extended across? Well, why did somebody solder to it, and what happened to it? What's going on? Now, there's just no chance this has been replaced. Really? Is it? I would be shocked. And if it's been replaced, they replaced it with a broken one? The person who replaced the switch had to break it in order for the switch to rotate into the position that it needed to get to. Because this isn't the right switch. That's a far-fetched story. That's a really far-fetched story. There'd be evidence in these wires. These wires would be all cockeyed. That's just far-fetched that somebody's replaced this switch. So if we look, here's the volume control. This is the low side, obviously it's soldered. This is the input side. The input wire comes over to the switch, almost certainly to pick up the phono situation. So I'm going to rotate the switch here. Based on my theory, this is exactly the opposite of where it would be. So this is the, and then, oh my gosh, I'm really, disconnect. One of the things I don't like about these old radios, or any radio, or any electronics for that matter, are these complex switches. I don't like them. I don't like looking at them. You know, the idea of sorting out how this works. Oh boy. Okay, got to stop and think about the situation now. I've made enough observations there, I think, to go and drink a little bit of coffee and think about what are my options here, what can reasonably be done with this radio, if anything, and what to do next. You know, somebody put a fair bit of effort into all this. Well, some effort, maybe not a fair bit. Oh my gosh, how did that switch get broken anyway? Okay, I've got some thoughts about the switcher, but first, take a look at this thing on my computer screen. I'm just going to show it to you this way. This thing here. OneDrive. Your cloud storage has expired. Your files have stopped syncing, and you will lose access on so-and-so date, August 30th, like a couple months from now, if you don't renew your storage. That one is coming from OneDrive, isn't it? That's Microsoft's system, isn't it? And then Google's got one going, and Apple's got one going, and all these companies. This is me talking now. I don't know this to be a fact, but it looks to me like what all these companies have done is they've set up an automatic storage system on their servers, and set it up so it starts storing files from your device, your phone or whatever, and then it's set so that, you know, that runs along for say about 6 months of average usage, and then it fills up, and then they start sending you warnings. Hey, this thing is full. As if you're supposed to care. Oh, they try to make you care by telling you, oh, well, you're not backing up your system, or you know, what happens if you switch to a new device, you won't be able to copy stuff over to it, or whatever the threats are. Isn't this really a racket at this point? Isn't this a racket in which they have set up a business circumstance in which the customers cannot fully appreciate the circumstances that have been created, and then they're basically conned into paying, you know, a couple of bucks a month for more storage, which I suppose will run out again someday. Am I crazy, or is this just a racket that they're running? So what I do personally, I'm not buying more storage. I back my own stuff up on my own backup hard drives here. I don't rely on the system that. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Just sometimes I feel the urge to rant, you know, and I know that what's happening here is happening everywhere. When it comes to this stuff, I see it on my wife's phone. You know, you're like, oh, your time's running out. You need more storage, quick. $2.99 a month, please. Okay, what to do about the switch? So, a couple of options are right off the table. That's replacing it, forget it. Fixing it, forget it. It's just not going to happen. So, what is left? Well, here's an idea. It's not a great idea, but whoever worked on this radio probably did it with the switch in the condition it's in now. And they wouldn't have done all this if they knew the switch was going to cause the radio to, burn up. Turning the switch into an inappropriate position was going to damage the radio and shut it down. They must have figured out that that's not the case. That in fact, you can do whatever you want with this switch and nothing bad happens. Kind of the same thing I have sort of found out myself. Kind of naively turning the switch all the way around with the radio operating. Nothing bad seemed to happen, and then it actually came to life and started working when the switch got in the right position. So that being the case, which I need to prove. I need to prove this with more certainty, that rotating this switch into any position doesn't cause some kind of disaster to happen. I suppose if I got a hold of the schematic and studied it, I might be one step ahead there. Unfortunately, I think what's happening too is you can feel like the parking indents on the switch, where it's stopping where it's supposed to stop. You can feel that. But I believe what I'm feeling is the switch contacts themselves getting in between positions. It's actually the opposite of what you'd want. Now, if I rubbed off no, the blue mark is still there. Also put the blue mark on the bottom. When I turn the radio the other way around, I won't know where this blue mark is, which almost lined up with the flat here, which is kind of interesting too. And of course that was, wait a minute, now that was 180 out of, Well, wait a minute now. If this is in the broadcast position, but at the same time, by examining the switch, I concluded the switch was 180 degrees out. How's that come about? I misinterpreted the switch by 180 degrees, and the part that's sticking out that's supposed to bang into the knockers, which is missing. It sticks out both ends. So first I thought it was this, then I thought it was this. And I think maybe it is this. Well, we can find out. Turn the set on, operate the switch slowly, really drag it through every possible position. You can watch the dim bulb lights here. If the radio gets into a mode where something dramatic has happened, the light intensity will change. I just go around carefully. Same time, antenna connected, radio operating. We'll try to find both the broadcast and the shortwave positions and identify them. And then what? I'm then going to want to either mark the shaft or do something so I can tell this from just looking at the knob or the position of something. That seems like the best approach to me. If the radio survives that kind of test, if it turns out, yeah, you can just turn this anywhere you want at any time and it just won't work, or it will work and it won't do anything in between, then it's replace a few more capacitors that the last guy left in for unknown reasons. One, two, three, four molded capacitors, five molded, six of them. There's six of them in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He left in. Then he replaced just these ones. These three capacitors, all of them are connected to the chassis on one side. So they're all probably serving a similar purpose throughout the radio, and he's left in all the others. My wild guess. Okay, I'm going to test the switch here. I'll get things ready for that. And how do you get this OneDrive thing off the screen here? There it goes. It's gone now. Evil OneDrive. Okay, so I'm just still getting ready here. Just have the camera in place. Let's look through that camera and see something weird that I'm seeing. So what I'm looking at is a brown piece of plastic, which just appears to be in a totally ridiculous position here. And it would be just in this area here. The shadow of my stick is on this thing. What is that thing? That's just a like an optical illusion. Let me rotate the knob here. Why? It's an optical illusion. I thought that piece was up above. Okay. That's what you get for not having stereo vision, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to get back to getting the radio ready for this test. Well, it looks like I need to have this camera literally sitting right inside the radio. And most of that camera is insulated, if you like. I mean, it's just a rubber bottom and all that. But I have found out from experience that this little cover here, which I think is a microphone cover, and this piece here is conductive, and you can get a lift off it. So I'm going to cover them because I can't, oh, I didn't get enough enough tape, because I can't be sure that while I'm doing this I won't knock that camera over and have one of those grounded pieces touch something in here, and while that would make an interesting video, I think it might be one of my last. So I don't want that to happen, so we're gonna just put a cowling around this just to make it a little more safe. Kind of safe. I'm going to look at the back of the switch, because there's more to be seen there than anywhere. And we're going to tuck this right in the radio. Yes, this camera does produce some interference, much less than you would ever imagine. You're looking right through a wire there. Let's see what this looks like. We're looking through a green green tape, and this wire has bent my tape. I can bend the wire a little bit. Oh, what's all that? Frost advisory has been extended. Yeah, we have a frost advisory here last night. And I showed my wife why. The temperature outdoors was going to go down to -6. I'm sorry, 6, +6. 6 above. So not freezing. It's going down to 6. And my wife says, why can there be frost when the outdoor temperature is well above freezing? And I showed her why. It's because of the sky. So you have a beautiful blue clear sky, and what I did was I went out with my thermal viewer here, this guy, and I just aimed it straight up into the clear sky, just standing on my deck, certainly not at the sun, but just up into the clear sky. I've also done it with this other device, which I can't spot right now. Where is it? It's just a simpler thermal gun. And if you do that, if you just shoot it straight up in the middle of the day, it can be 70, 80 degrees, or 20, 21, 22 degrees out, feeling nice and warm. You shoot that thing straight up and ask the question, well, how hot is the sky? -15 degrees C yesterday. And that's the way it is almost all the time. So if you have your plants out at night and the air temperature drops down to, say, +5, but the sky is beautifully clear, that cold sky will draw, that's a wrong way of putting this, out. The cold sky will draw the heat out of your plant. That's really not the way to put it. There's no reflection of heat from your plant upwards. It's just going, it's leaving. So that's how you end up with frost on a plant when the weather is above freezing. So yeah, -15. It's kind of surprising in a way. Okay, talking about surprising. Now, this will be surprising. So I have the antenna hooked up and switched on. I have the radio tuned who knows where, but we're going to try to pick up a station. This was tone, wasn't it, in the end? I got this upside down, but that shouldn't change the direction of the knob. So we'll turn the volume down and up just a little bit. We'll try to pick up a station, and then we're going to fool with this. And you'll be looking through this camera, and we'll be looking for things like sparks or indications that it's not good to do what I'm doing, basically. Okay, let me just keep this camera going. Here we go. Plug this in. Okay, a little bit of finger crossing might be useful this time. Here we go. You notice I'm starting with both bulbs in, so we should get right up to operating voltage pretty quick. 90 volts here. It's going to go up a bit. 92. It's still low. That's okay. Here we go. Radio's making sound. That's good. I can hear a station in behind that, but let's see if we can get a better thing happening here. Okay, we can definitely hear the radio station, so we know we're on the broadcast. Now let's look in the other camera, and I'm going to turn this down here. We'll just turn up a little bit because we want to hear the the crash and burn sounds as I turn that switch. Okay, so we'll switch cameras here. So just looking at that, now this is part of the switch I haven't looked at before. Is the switch, whoops, kind of centered properly? I'm going to rotate it a little bit here. Okay, so that looks better centered there. And the coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, the flat spot on the shaft is at a what would you call it? It's flat. It's at 180 degrees. Interesting. The rotating end of the shaft doesn't look that way. Where's my camera on it? My camera is flat and level. So, huh. I don't know. I would just think, yeah, definitely I can see it. I would just think the flat on the, where the knob slides on would be the same as the flat on the end here, but it's not. Okay, we're gonna start rotating. I'm gonna put a little more volume in it. Now, which way would be which? Let me just think about this for a minute. I think we're in the middle position. So from here, either way. So if we go this way, watch for excitement now. Okay, so this might be phono. Would be something like that. So, okay, that's radio. Now, okay, here we go. Shortwave would be here. This would be shortwave. Oh, it all looks good, doesn't it? It looks like it just makes sense. Is this really shortwave? We'll leave it like that. So we haven't done the what happens if you rotate the switch into unfortunate positions test yet. I think I'm just rotating it through the proper positions. Let's see if this is really shortwave. So it's picking up some interference, and 6, so we should be up in this area to get stuff, if there is stuff. Any stuff? Doesn't sound like it. Oh. Is that stuff? I think that's stuff. One station. So, there's a shortwave station. So now we know the settings. We know the settings. So that shortwave, let's turn this down. Shortwave. See, this is the flat I was talking about. Flat. Flat level. Broadcast. Flat over here, somewhere. We are looking at this is kind of feeling like it's settling in. But the settling in part is missing. So what's it actually doing? My guess is it's settling between. It's the rotating switch blade is bumping up against some of the spring-loaded. That's what I'm feeling. The one at the top there. Okay, so now we're going to do the will this explode the radio test. Okay, so we're on broadcast right now, and I think we'll do this in darker circumstances here. Okay, darker. This thing has its own lights. So, okay, we're looking for tremendous sparking, and this is only one part of the switch. Here we go. We're going around. Going around. Going all the way around. Coming around. Coming back. Nothing bad happened. I didn't see any sparks or anything. The looks like Cherkov radiation there. The blue light is actually from a little LED on the camera itself, shining outward. So this would be shortwave, broadcast, phono, broadcast, shortwave. Let's go around again. Interesting. We got something working here in the wrong spot. Something else working here. Is this really the wrong spot? It's not possible there's two sets of working spots, is there? I can't imagine that. Just who knows what we're getting connected. So, okay, nothing bad happened there. Now I'm going to do this one more time, and I'm just going to look at the switch, the other wafer, with my eyeballs rather than in the camera. Here we go around again. Looking for sparks. Anything scary. I'm wiggling it a bit too here, just to increase the chance of something bad happening. Sounds a little counterproductive. And we're back. Okay. Lights, please. Well, I think what this tells me is we don't have to worry about the switch. I could be in any position at all, and either the radio is going to work or it's not, but nothing bad is going to happen. If there was a circumstance where, let's say, a current was going to flow and burn up a resistor, I think we would have heard some loud popping in the speaker, and I think we would have seen some sparking right on the control itself. So my impression is, leave well enough alone. Don't freak out over the switch. That can be solved with a note, a handwritten note explaining the circumstances of the switch. Because if somebody doesn't know what's going on, they're very likely to have this in the wrong position and try to make the radio work, and then they'll conclude the radio doesn't work because they don't understand what's going on. So I think from here it's get back to the usual kind of stuff you do to these radios, replace a few more of these capacitors, do the alignment, and she's done. I think that's kind of the way it's going to go. And as for today, it's another, let me turn the power off before I forget. It's another beautiful day outside. So I think that's where I'm headed. I got all kinds of outdoor work to do. Beautiful hot sun, cold air, cool air. It's fantastic. So thanks a lot for watching. Tomorrow we'll do the capacitor thing and try to boost the performance of the radio a little bit. And then, you know, I guess alignment after that, and we're done. Something of that sort. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you on the next video. See ya.